Raw took place in Greensboro, North Carolina tonight. The show started off with Roman Reigns being confronted by Adam Pearce shortly after arriving to the building. Pearce did not want any more trouble with Fatu. He was going to fire him after what happened last week. And as Roman was about to go to the ring, we hear Fatu's music hit. He heads out to the ring. He then calls out Roman Reigns, but instead the Usos come out. Jimmy had a microphone trying to talk to him, while Jay was holding a chair ready to swing at him. Jimmy tries to talk him down, but Jay eventually swings. Jacob Fatu, however, fights them both off. He locks in the Tongan death grip on both guys, but then Roman comes out. They come to blows, but the Usos help Roman. They tie Jacob in the ropes, and looked like they were about to repeat that same angle from Royal Rumble in 2023 with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn when Kevin was in the ropes. That's where I thought this was going. Not really. Jacob was in the ropes that long. The Usos just hit their super kicks. Roman hit the Superman punch. They beat him down. And then after Jacob takes a spear from Roman. And then Roman and the Usos walk back up the ramp. That's when they see Adam Pearce. And Roman tells Pearce, do what you need to do. However, Jacob gets on the mic and challenges Roman Reigns to tribal combat. And Pearce was about to still fire him, but Roman changes his mind and accepts it. So we have tribal combat now at Clash in Italy. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. We got a Finn Balor video promo. And before I get into more into this review, before I get into the next Balor match, I had to congratulate someone who's not on the show tonight, and that's Io Sky. I'm sure she wasn't on the show due to getting married, and I don't know when she got married, but Io Sky married Naraku, who is Naraku is on NXT. He's better known as Evil for his time in New Japan. So they got married. I didn't know they were together, but they did get married. I don't know when they got married, and they just publicly announced over the weekend. I think they were on some Japanese television show. I don't know if it's a reality show. And that's when the news officially was confirmed by them. So congratulations to both of them. Mr. Naraku is an evil, lucky bastard. I think everyone wants to trade places with Naraku, especially Rhea Ripley. I'm kidding. Of course, Rhea Ripley's married to Buddy Matthews. It's just Io Sky's her lover on television. That's what it seems like. I don't know. But yeah, congratulations to Io. Definitely. Always been a big fan of her. So I think that's probably why she wasn't on the show tonight. So Finn Balor was out next, and then we get a street fight between Finn Balor and JD McDonough. So first they brawl in the crowd. Chairs are used, kendo sticks, and then a table. JD superplexes Finn Balor through the table after interference from Dominic Mysterio, and then Dom starts throwing trash cans in the ring, but it backfires as Finn moves out of the way, causing Dom to hit the 619 onto JD. Finn takes advantage. He uses trash cans, attacks Dom, puts another trash can over JD's head, and then he hits the coup de grace on the trash can with JD inside and pins him 1-2-3. Finn Balor gets the win. Kathy Kelly interviewed Seth Rollins backstage. He called out Braun Breaker for a match tonight. We see Obafemi walking backstage. Byron Saxon interviewed Sol Ruka backstage, but then Becky Lynch walked up to her, told her to leave, mocked her, so Sol takes her advice and just goes to the ring. She calls out Becky Lynch when Sol gets in the ring. Becky comes out next. Sol challenges her to a match. Becky mentioned how all the other women she's worked with in the last year aren't doing anything. See, I think that's kind of not the best reflection on Becky. She mentions Lyra Valkyria, Maxine Dupree, and AJ Lee. Yeah, none of them are really doing anything, but Lyra, I guess, somewhat. Maxine, I don't think they did the stuff with the Vision. I never talked about that last week. I didn't even notice her in the vehicle. I really hope they don't put Maxine Dupree in the Vision. That would be such a fucking waste. She is no good. She's not anything. She's not going to be anything. For her to be like the first Paul Heyman girl after all these years, that would be a fucking disaster. I really hope she doesn't get put in the Vision. She is not worthy of that spot. Like, she's not good enough for that. She'd be a waste. And but anyway, Becky challenges once Sol comes out. Once Becky comes out, Becky eventually would challenge her to a match at Saturday Night's main event. Women's Intercontinental Championship. Sol accepts, and we have that match set up now. It'll probably be the main event because I don't think there's anything else really going to be the main event ahead of that. Division was backstage when Paul Heyman told him he wants Theory to face Rollins instead of Braun Breaker tonight. Paul tells Braun why he chose Theory to face Seth. We had some Americanos match. I don't give a shit about this. The Kaiser's team won. I don't care. I fast forwarded it. I have no interest. So Paige and Brie Bella talked backstage, and then the Whataburger mascot made a cameo. Fuck TKO. Fuck TKO. Fuck TKO. Okay. Kathy Kelly interviewed the Usos backstage when LA Knight walked in, started arguing with them, and they're kind of, I don't know, almost teasing a Knight heel turn is coming. Michael Cole interviewed Ethan Page in a tape backstage segment. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez were out next, with Liv Morgan in the center, who is, of course, the Women's World Champion. Then Brie Bella and Paige were out next. They suck. I hate them. They're an awful champions. They suck. I don't care about Paige. I really wanted to see her back. I don't know why they had to bring her back. For what? Like, it's these stupid, idiot, dumb diva stands who want Paige back, who want Brie back, who want Nikki back, who went crazy for AJ Lee. And I was happy to see AJ back, but I mean, like, they overdid it. And look, the thing with AJ and Paige, they weren't great wrestlers. They never really were. It's just that they were in an era where the women were so horrible that because they weren't awful, it made people think that they were better than they actually were. I think a similar thing happened with Trish and Lita. And I know some of the marks or some of these stands, that's sacrilege, right? Look, Trish and Lita weren't spectacular or anything. I think Trish is actually better now than she was then when she was younger. But just the other woman that would come after them more so were so awful that they became like these icons, and people would get so nostalgic for them because the woman who came after them were just awful during like the model era with Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis, that creep, that piece of shit, that fucking scumbag. Anyway, he would literally open up a magazine, find a hot model, and try to recruit her to WWE. So fuck him, fuck Johnny Ace, that creep. But I'm knowing I'm going off on a tangent, but AJ and Paige, like, they're not as good as you think. Like, if they were coming up in the era with Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bayley, Asuka, then later, with Bianca, with Rhea Ripley, with Roxanne Perez now, Io Sky, of course. Io is the best female star. All these women who are just so much better, it would they would never stand out. But because they were in an era where all the women were awful and they weren't that terrible, people think that they were these great wrestlers. In reality, they were not. Paige was never really good. And I think that's being exposed. Becky, who came up with her, Becky was good. But, Paige was nothing. She really wasn't. And you have this match. You have Paige and Brie defending against Roxanne and Raquel with Liv in their corner. I was just hoping, could we please have new champions? Liv should watch out, though, because Brie was doing those horrible Daniel Bryan kicks, which still look awful whenever Brie does. And all I was thinking was, I'm sure Liv is kind of paranoid watching outside, because remember in 2018 when Brie kicked Liv right in the head with one of that and gave her a really bad concussion, and Liv was out for like a month, and everyone was pissed off at Brie. Remember that? I remember covering that on this show like 8 years ago or so, whatever it was. It was, Liv took a shot to the fucking head in 2018. And Brie's the one getting the hot tag from Paige. Why? I don't like Paige that much. Like, she's more over than Brie is. But, fuck, it's because it's the Bellas. It's fucking TKO, and I don't know. I guess I blame fucking Michael B.S. Hayes or fucking Bruce Pritchard, one of those two fuckers. Anyway, Liv got, fuck them. I wish Michael Hayes and Bruce Pritchard were fucking fired. I don't mind Triple H staying on, but fire those fuckers and fire anyone like associated with Vince and that fucking asshole. And I'm such low tolerance for this shit right now. I don't want to see. I don't know. I'm just going off on a tangent. I'm pissed off, but I pissed off Brie and Paige won. They shouldn't be fucking beating Roxanne. Anyway, Brie rolls up Roxanne Perez for the win. Bullshit. Fucking Brie Bella pinning Roxanne Perez. Fucking garbage. Anyway, Paige and Brie fucking suck. Liv attacks them. And I was thinking, okay. The Judgment Day, Liv, Roxanne, and Raquel are beating up Paige and Brie. This is all set up for the big epic return of Stephanie Vaquero. We haven't seen her since WrestleMania. There's been rumors she's coming back, and she had an incident when she was in Mexico. The boyfriend she was with really beat her up. She suffered really horrific domestic abuse, and he got a light sentence, similar to like a Raja Jackson fucker. But yeah, so fucking sad. Feel bad for Stephanie. I'm sure she's hurt by that, but no, Stephanie. There was rumors she was going to be on tonight, but I guess the injury is bigger than or more serious than we thought. Instead, we get Lyra, Valkyria, and Bailey, who Bailey Becky already kind of buried Lyra early in the show. The thing with Bailey and Lyra coming out, it's like people wanted Stephanie, and they're not as big of stars as she is, so it didn't really work that much. But they did make the save. I guess we're gonna get like another trios women's match. I don't know. Seth Rollins was outside when LA Knight confronted him. Again, I think they're planting the seeds of a Knight heel turn. Oba Femi headed to the ring next. The announcers previewed Saturday's main event. Oba Femi is out next. He's coming he's by the ring. He's gonna do his weekly open challenge. He's doing his big pose in the middle of the ring with the spotlight, and then he was attacked by Brock Lesnar, making his return. Brock attacks Oba during his entrance. He hits 4 consecutive F5s onto Oba. Holy shit moment. I thought Brock was gone. I didn't think he was coming back. And I thought if he would have came back, he wouldn't come back till SummerSlam, because SummerSlam's in Minnesota. So I guess it makes sense they want Brock on SummerSlam because it's in Minnesota. But, I think Brock, when he just did that retirement thing, him fake crying, I think it was just a negotiating ploy. That's what Brock does. That's Brock Lesnar. That's his history. I remember one year when he was having issues with Vince trying to sign a new contract, he randomly showed up to a UFC. Then he eventually got more money from Vince. That's what Brock Lesnar does his whole career. Like that, what I'm thinking? Brock didn't really retire. Those tears were fucking fake. I gave him credit for that. I was saying, hey, thank you, Brock. I even did a retrospective on his career and legacy. Instead, it was just a negotiating ploy for him. That's why he did those tears were fucking fake now at WrestleMania. It was just him doing that fake retirement to negotiate for a bigger contract so they can use him at SummerSlam. It's fucking annoying. Anyway, he destroys Oba. It sets up Clash in Italy, and that was confirmed after the break. Adam Pearce was upset after Brock returned. Paul Heyman was in his office. Heyman hands Pearce a contract, setting up Brock Lesnar vs. Oba Femi at Clash in Italy. Brock's already signed it, and we have a big match. So, that's 3 big matches on this PLE. Roman and Jacob in Tribal Combat, Brock and Oba, big rematch from WrestleMania, and Cody and Gunther for the world title. So, 3 big matches for a B-show PLE during the day when most people will watch it. It's a pretty fucking stacked card. Those are 3, big-time matches. I think that's a better card than WrestleMania. To be honest, I find it in many ways to be better. So we had Kathy Kelly interviewing the Street Profits backstage. She cut a promo on Division. I don't give a shit about this stuff, I'll be honest. I like looking at Kathy Kelly, of course, but I don't care about Street Profits. Montez calls out Angelo regarding him still standing by Seth. Angelo goes up to Seth before the match. Then Seth makes his entrance. Vision came out after next. After that, then he had Seth and Austin Theory. Seth pinned him after a pedigree. Logan Paul attacked Seth Rollins after the match. Angelo Dawkins came out to defend Seth Rollins, but he was outnumbered. But then Montez comes out to defend him. He hit a dive. He was upset. Then he gets speared by Braun. Braun destroys Angelo after he destroyed Montez. And then Seth. They were both to crush Seth's ribs with steel steps, but Division, the security stopped it, and Division stood tall to end the show. I don't care about the Seth Rollins stuff with Division. I don't care about that. But that was Raw tonight. Definitely, I know I had a lot of stiff sports competition, so I'm sure the numbers won't be too high. But I thought the show tonight, I didn't care about the main event stuff, but the Brock stuff was good. I liked the opening with Roman and Jacob was good, setting up Clash in Early match. And I liked the Finn JD street fight. There was some good stuff. The Becky Soul stuff I don't really like. I'm not happy Paige and Brie retained the belts. That I'm not that into. The Ethan Page stuff I didn't like that much. So it was kind of hit or miss tonight. But that was Raw tonight. And we'll see what WWE does next. But I thought, the show did some good stuff. And, clashing early, the card right now looks shaping up to be a stacked PLE. We have three really good matches, three strong headlining matches. Roman Jacob Tribal Combat, Cody Gunther, and Brock opened the rematch. And we were worked. WrestleMania, we were worked. Brock Lesnar was just negotiating for a bigger contract. He is not retired. Brock Lesnar, the Beast, is back, and he did not retire at WrestleMania.